Hi, I'm in Brazil. I thought I'd talk for a moment about data supply chain scope. The scope of a data supply chain is determined by the number of balances maintained in the posting process. If you took and thought about in the early videos I talked about the number of attributes, and the values in those attributes determine the number of balances that are maintained in the posting process. If we maintain a few number of attributes, very few, and those few number of the attributes have very few values in those attributes, then our posted file is going to be a limited number of rows, a number of balances in that posting process. Often that might be adequate for a single report. If it's narrow enough, it might satisfy one reporting process. If we want to satisfy more reporting processes, we're going to broaden the scope of attributes and the number of values maintained in those balances. So the number of reports that can be produced off of a data supply chain is determined by the number of rows that are maintained in the posted master file, which is determined by the number of values and the number of attributes in those values. Now, when you get to a low enough point, as I've talked about for the detailed key to our instrument ledger, then we start to be able to join to other values. And we start to increase the number of reports that can be maintained off of a single posted file by referencing outside of a posted file for different kinds of attributes. That starts to increase the usefulness of that master file for a different reporting process. That increases the scope of the reporting process. If we put inside of our master file step-up concepts that allow us to maintain across different domains values that are of interest to us, then our posting process can maintain a keys that are interested across domains like finance and risk, MIS, even customer reporting, marketing balances, other kinds of key performance indicators. All of those can be maintained in the same posted file by maintaining them as either step-ups or additional balances, and then we can use that to produce many more reports. So the scope of a master file determines the number of reports that can be maintained off of it, but it also increases the volume in the master file. All of these things go into consideration when we're trying to build a metric engine. The instrument ledgers that I've been talking about, do they satisfy every report that's needed? No, because at some point the number of values that are maintained within an instrument ledger become too voluminous for doing the posting process within a timely manner. And some instances we see that we have to drop back to transaction detail to produce some reports, or we have to maintain another posting file for some set of reports. So an instrument ledger doesn't solve every problem. There can be reporting and attribute problems that require other posting files, other master files, but increasing the scope and depth of the master file, the primary master files that we need, starting with the general ledger is where I would start, because it gets the highest quality seal of approval for our balance processes, will allow us to consolidate down data supply chains to those that are most important to us, most valuable to us, and have the transformative impacts we're looking for by building a metric engine.